Brett Sockled here, helping you make every class Catholic. Some of us may have seen some interesting data from the corporate world. Corporations will often hire consultants around certain social issues, bring them in to work with their staff, maybe to do something very noble like decreasing racism or raising awareness around certain issues. Some of the things that they're brought in to do are not always things that Catholics would be supportive of. But regardless, one of the things that we see happening in some of the data from these attempts is the problem that the consultant was brought in to address sometimes gets worse. And people were a little baffled, right? We brought in this person to work on this thing that we identified as a priority, and now we're in a worse off situation. What happened? Well, any of you, I've been in this situation, who has taken a course where you know what all the answers are before you take the course. You could have passed the test that gets you the certificate. It's usually multiple choice before you ever took the course, not because you agreed and you knew everything, but because you knew what they wanted you to say, right? When you take that kind of course and then they tell you things that you aren't convinced of or you think are flat out dangerous or false, you still often check the box and get the certificate and just forget about it on your way out the door and go back to doing your work. But some of us might feel condescended to in those cases, and that's going to come out sideways the next time there's an issue related to that in the office. And so that's why sometimes things get worse, because people don't like being condescended to, and so they get bitter and they push back. And so what does this have to do with teaching in a Catholic school? Well, one of the questions I get is, how do we deal with non-Catholics, and particularly, how do we deal with atheists in a Catholic school? People who don't share our worldview in whole or in part. There's almost no one who doesn't share our worldview in whole, right? Like, there's a lot of things we agree with on virtually everybody. But on particular questions that are really important, where there's division, what do we do with people in our schools who don't share all of our commitments? What we don't want to happen is for the students' experience of Catholic school to be the same as the experience that some of us have had with some of these trainings or these things that happen in the corporate world, where the consultant is brought in and everyone knows the answer they're supposed to put. And when they put it, it's not out of any heartfelt conviction, but it's in order to check a box because you know that's what they want you to hear. If that's a student's experience of a presentation of Catholic faith in a Catholic school, we have failed them. The goal is not that they check every box, that they tell us what they think we want to hear. That trains people actually to not engage well with the rest of life, and it doesn't make the Catholic faith compelling at all. The requirement for doing well in a Catholic school is good faith engagement. It's not agreement. And I will ask in my presentations when this comes up, I'll ask a room of teachers or an auditorium of teachers, hey, where are my religion teachers at? How many of you have taught theology or religion where the best student in class was the honest atheist? And a lot of hands go up. And if you've been in the game for any length of time as a theology teacher, you're going to have a class where the honest atheist is the best student in the class. And I say honest atheist because I know kids can be silly. You can have the cheeky gotcha question troublemaker atheist. Sometimes they're not even a real atheist. They're just pretending in order to make trouble. That's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the honest atheist who wants to know what's true and asks good questions to that end. The honest atheist is on my team, right? I have a rule for atheists in a Catholic school, and it's, if you want to be an atheist in my Catholic school, please, you are more than welcome. Come and join us in this endeavor, but you're going to be the best darn atheist you can be. No lazy, sloppy atheism in my Catholic school, and I want you, my atheist friend, to make sure there's no lazy, sloppy Catholicism in my Catholic school, right? Both of us, if we're seeking truth, should make the other one better. The seriousness of the question should be drawn out in such a way that the truth of it becomes clearer for everyone who's involved in the conversation. And having an interlocutor who disagrees with you, but who is an honest truth seeker, is one of the best ways to achieve this. In fact, in Thomas Aquinas' Summa, this is his exact method. Give me the best argument of the person who disagrees with me, and I will see the truth with much more clarity. And all people of goodwill are welcome in a Catholic school, right? Our Catholic schools are mission territory. They're not only for helping Catholic families raise Catholic kids in the faith, though that's absolutely an important and essential part of their goal. But they're mission territory, and if anyone wants to join us in a Catholic school and they're ready to act in good faith, they are more than welcome. And what we show all the students, including the kids from the faithful Catholic families, the kids who are questioning, the kids who are coming from an opposing point of view, doesn't matter who, what we're showing them is that the truth is not afraid of good questions, right? And one of the things that can undermine faith is kids who get the impression that faith shouldn't be questioned, that it's like fragile and that it can't stand up to scrutiny, or that they're guilty or unfaithful somehow for asking questions. And when we engage the person who disagrees with us, whether they're an atheist or not, when we engage with them seriously and take their questions as a good challenge that we welcome because truth isn't afraid of questions, we witness to everyone in the class about the compelling nature of our Catholic faith. Hope that's helpful for you. I'm sure lots of you have great stories of the atheist who asked a good question in your class. I'd love to hear those if you want to share some of those in the comments. God bless.